Release the mould well with Vaseline or a mould release spray. Wax and epoxy parfilm sprays work well, but Vaseline should do the trick. Cat plastic is usually supplied as a thick concentrate, and it needs thinning with solvent. When using cat plastic, ensure you take precautions to avoid inhaling the fumes. I'm using Super Bally's cat plastic, which is thin with 99% alcohol. Most cat plastics use acetone as a solvent, so check with your supplier which is correct for you. I use 2 parts solvent to 1 part cat plastic if painting it on with a brush. If airbrushing it on, it needs to be thinner, so I use 4 parts solvent to 1 part cat plastic. Brush or spray the mixture thinly all over right up to the edge of the mould. It needs approximately 3 or 4 coats of cat plastic, allowing each layer to dry before applying the next. You can use a blow dry to speed up the process. When the cat plastic is dry, check its thickness by picking and lifting up an edge using a pin. If it has any obvious holes, simply add a few more layers. Once the cat plastic is done, measure out and mix the required amount of silicone for the mould you're running. Pour the silicone into the mould and smooth it over the mould surface. Then, using a straight edge utensil such as a plastic scraper, carefully wipe the back of the mould. You want to press as firmly as you can without peeling up the cat plastic layer. You may need to scrape a couple of times to get the fine edges necessary, but you'll know when you've done it right, as there should be a dry border around each piece where there's no silicone at all. You can see this more easily if you use a lamp to create a reflection on the mould surface like this. Use a cotton swab if necessary to clean the edges. As soon as the silicone has set, apply a few thin layers of cat plastic over the back of the piece, again going right up to the edge of the mould itself. Leave the cat plastic to dry and apply talcum powder to the back. Carefully peel the appliance out of the mould, talking the inside as you go. Once the piece is peeled out, trim off the excess cat plastic and leave the thin border of silicone attached. You are now ready to apply your piece. To cast gelatine appliances, simply melt your gelatine until it can be poured into the moulds, taking care not to boil it and causing bubbles. Take sensible precautions to avoid injury when using molten gelatine, such as wearing heatproof gloves. Quickly wipe the back of the moulds as before to scrape away the excess, using a flat-edged utensil. Like the silicone, there should be a clear border around each piece to ensure a good edge. Now leave the gelatine to cool. Once the gelatine is cooled and set, you can peel away the excess and reuse it. Powder the back of the mould and peel up an edge gently using a brush, powdering the inside as you go and lifting it out of the mould. The fine edges should be feather thin, and you are now ready to apply the piece.